Good evening. I am Mariatu Sidibe and this is QTV News coming to you live from our studios on Kairaba Avenue. Thanks for joining us. And now, here are the main local and sports news headlines. President Adama Barrow on Thursday received sporting materials worth almost $1 million from Gambia's Ambassador for Youth and Sports, His Excellency Tijan Jaite. The Vice President and policymakers, including the Food Safety and Quality Authority, on Wednesday held a forum on Codex Alimentarius to strengthen measures to protect consumer health and safety. ECOWAS parliamentarians are meeting in Monrovia, Liberia for a seminar on the formulation process and challenges to the implementation of ECOWAS Vision 2050. The Gambia Public Utility and Regulatory Authority on Thursday briefed stakeholders in the petroleum products business on the newly introduced online information system for tanker trucks. In sports news, following Russia's invasion of Ukraine last week, the global sporting fraternity is now punishing Russia with a series of sanctions and bans. Those were our main headlines. Now the news in detail. We begin with a public notice. The Gambia Supreme Islamic Council wishes to remind all Muslims in the Gambia that today, Friday, 4th March 2022, is the first day of Shaban, the 8th month of the Islamic calendar, 1443H. Therefore, the Council takes this auspicious opportunity to advise the Gambia Muslim community to remain unified and make efforts to enhance social harmony and cohesion. The Gambia Supreme Islamic Council wishes to thank everyone for your cooperation. Now, President Adama Barrow on Thursday received sporting materials worth almost $1 million presented by Gambia's Ambassador for Youth and Sports, His Excellency Tijan Jaite, for youths engaged in various sporting disciplines. And Sumana Isonyasi reports.
Widely respected for his philanthropic interventions in sports, Ambassador Tijan Jaite handed over the sporting gear to the president for distribution to athletes across the country. This almost $1 million donation follows several other interventions he's made in the past. Jaite expresses unwavering determination to continue supporting Gambian youths to excel in sports. Offering encouragement and appreciation for his efforts, President Barrow thanked Ambassador Jaite for his contribution to the growth of sports in the Gambia. Describing him as a true patriot, the president said his government recognizes the ambassador's efforts towards sports development. Having presented the materials to President Barrow, Ambassador Tijan Jaite tells QTV that supporting youths, especially Gambian athletes, remain a key priority for him.
Opportunity, I'm very happy to present this sport materials to the president for the youths of the Gambia, because I see that he have been doing a lot for sports in the Gambia, and I see that youths are very important. And though, there are certain areas maybe it will be difficult for me to reach out to them, so I decided that it will be nice for me to present this very valuable sporting material to the president to give it to the youths.
He says the donated materials are new, cost a lot and in good condition, and those urge beneficiaries to take good care of the materials so they can last long.
These materials are very expensive. They are original, and like 20 set of jersey with 100 balls, and each set have 2 gloves. So the worth of these materials are around $1 million.
He also urged young people to believe in themselves, be disciplined and serious about their education before reiterating his commitment to continue supporting sports. Ansmane Sonyasi for QTV News.
The Vice President and policymakers, including the Food Safety and Quality Authority, on Wednesday held a sensitization forum, Codex Alimentarius, to strengthen measures to protect consumer health and safety as in the international standard setting process. Ajibintu Drame attended and she now reports.
The Codex, the WHO country representative, says the Gambia has to put much effort in order to tackle food security.
We are dealing with a very complex situation. Food safety is the business of everybody, because as we speak now, the entire world every year over 400 million people, that's 1 in 10 people, fell ill because of consuming food that is contaminated. Contaminated either by viruses or bacteria or chemical substances or parasites. As a result of this, what WHO, the evidence that we have generated is that the world loses over $100 billion every year as a result of complications arising from consuming unsound food.
Unsafe food can cause diseases, malnutrition, affecting all age range, particularly infants, elderly and the sick. The protection and strengthening of food chains and food security is a bedrock for robust economies, trade, tourism and sustainable development. Mushibudi Rampidi, the FAO representative in the Gambia, states that Gambia should continue to invest in food security and strengthen Codex standard for the well-being and development of the nation.
We all want safe food, ladies and gentlemen, to avoid diseases. We all want adequate nutrition. We all want to protect infants, young children, the sick and the elderly from malnutrition. This only adds to the importance of Codex. And through Codex, we can regulate the use of food additives that are there when we manufacture food. We can also counter how we use pesticides, how we use veterinary drugs in food production.
Amadou Sow, board chair of Food Safety and Quality Authority, also had this to say.
Madam Vice President, ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to assure you all that FSQA will continue to play its critical role in strengthening the effectiveness of the participation of the country in international codex settings. To the CCP, the National Codex Committee will adequately support to perform its duties.
Participants agreed that facilities and equipment should be in place to strengthen food security in the country to meet international standards. Ajipintu Drame, QTV News.
ECOWAS parliamentarians are meeting in Monrovia, Liberia for a seminar on the formulation process and challenges to the implementation of ECOWAS Vision 2050. Aliou Cisse reports.
This first ECOWAS parliamentary seminar in 2022 is currently taking place at the ministerial complex in the Liberian capital, Monrovia. The seminar aimed to discuss the ECOWAS Vision 2050 formulation process and challenges to the implementation. It is expected that at the end of the seminar, MPs will take ownership of the ECOWAS Vision 2050 and ensure their full involvement in its implementation. At the opening ceremony on Thursday morning, Sidi Mohamed Tunis, Speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament, said he expects the vision to provide policy prescription to tackle the complex issues of development relating to education, science and technology, health and development, sustainable agriculture, peace and social justice and gender equality.
We are aware that to improve the quality of life of the people in our region to the level of our counterparts in the developed world, a framework that defines clearly where we are now as a region, where we want to be by 2050, and how to get there must be formulated. Visioning in this context means creating multiple alternative development strategies and integrated implementation approaches for reaching the goals of future regional development. That is why the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government adopted ECOWAS Vision 2050 of the community at its 60th ordinary session held on 12 December 2021 in Abuja, Nigeria. This vision reads as follows: a community of people fully integrated in a peaceful, prosperous region with strong institutions and respect for fundamental freedoms, working for inclusive and sustainable development.
Speaker Tunis again called on people of the sub-region to take the opportunity to take the COVID-19 vaccine to mitigate and reduce the effects of new possible coronavirus variants that may likely create more deaths arising from the devastating effects, which, according to him, has reduced significantly. Deputizing for President George Weah of Liberia, Mawin G. Dick said Liberia's Minister for Commerce and Industry gave assurance of his government's commitment to the implementation of the Vision 2050. Unlike the Vision 20, which did not meet the aspirations of the people of the sub-region.
You as members of parliament must ensure that this document becomes a mechanism that can lead to the eradication of poverty and diseases while also addressing the issue of hunger among our people. Let me also avail myself this opportunity to further advise that if the attainment of the major objectives of the Vision 2050 and the anticipated strategic plan that will follow are to be realized, the ECOWAS Commission and the Parliament, as well as other community institutions and agencies, would have to collaborate very closely.
The community parliament has a pivotal role to play in actualizing the vision, and it is hoped they will move into action after the seminar to push their respective governments to play their roles. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cissé.
We will now go for a commercial break. When we return, we have more local news stories. Do stay tuned.
My name is Anna Marie Baji. I am athlete for the Special Olympics for the Gambia. I run 100 meters and 200 meter race for the Gambia. I like to win medal for the Gambia. I like to train other athletes. We are family. I run the inclusive community in the Gambia.
Modu came in to buy some bathroom floor tile, but once he laid eyes on our basins, he fell in love with a stunning basin and with a breathtaking faucet. With a brand new mirror too, at a bargaining price.
So, I got a bathtub too.
Oh yes, he picked up a bathtub too.
It's Batty Days time at Batty Mats. Enjoy exceptional discounts up to 70% on all our product families. From March 5th to 19th, you're going to splurge. Batty Mats, everything for construction, from foundation to finishing.
Welcome back. The Gambia Public Utility and Regulatory Authority on Thursday held a stakeholder sensitization forum with stakeholders in the petroleum products business on the newly introduced online information system for tanker trucks. Yahya Jawa has more.
The forum is to enlighten business operators on a new online database for tanker trucks transporting petroleum products and about important licensing requirements in the petroleum road transport business, including the renewal of inspections for petroleum tanker trucks. Yusufa M. Job, the Director General of PURA, says this information system will allow them to keep track of all vehicle licensing and inspection rules, and that each vehicle will be issued with a unique electronic identifier to help them monitor the mode of operation of tanker trucks.
We have recently introduced an NPIS system, which is helping in doing all the necessary steps to evaluate and approve applications for petroleum licensing, etc., etc. And now, within a short space of time, we are also having this new system based, which is also going to be linked up to the NPIS, and it's going to help us to be able to monitor and control what the people that are delivering petroleum to the stations, whether they are following the rules, whether they have met the targets, whether they have met the minimum requirements of safety, and also even to just know whether they have the right to be on the road.
Ibrahim Ajalo, the Managing Director of Pages Company Limited, which is the company responsible for conducting fitness tests for tanker trucks in the Gambia, says the new electronic system will help them do their work effectively. He added that his company will ensure that the requirements for a tanker truck are in place for it to be certified as roadworthy.
What I will encourage the transporters and vehicle owners, truck owners, is to cooperate as far as this new system is concerned, because it's for the benefit of everybody, particularly the tanker owners. I always try to mention this to the tanker owners and the transporters, that when a truck is tested, the idea is to ensure that it is fit to transport petroleum product for the safety of the transport owner itself and for the safety of everybody.
Malang Toure, a co-founder of Forte Innovations, a Gambian-owned software company that focuses on data management and developers of Pura's information system for tanker truck testing, explains the new application system.
This is a system that is an initiative that has been pushed by Pura as the regulators of the sector. And through a competitive tender, we were selected to support them in the development of this system. So it is supposed to facilitate everybody's work within the system and improve transparency and digitize it, basically.
This new online information system by Pura will ensure compliance with petroleum products road transport regulations and help monitor the activities of transporters to help prevent accidents and any dubious activities in the sector. Reporting for QTV News, I am Yahya Jao.
The Independent Electoral Commission on Wednesday concluded a two-day briefing for stakeholders on the upcoming National Assembly elections on April 9. The final day brought together CSOs and the media a day after briefing political parties and the police. Omar Pijalo reports.
The training is part of the IEC's electoral cycle of activities aimed at sensitizing the media and the civil society organization on their roles in the upcoming election in ensuring a peaceful and transparent National Assembly election. The chairman of the Independent Electoral Commission, Ali Momarjai, reveals that the IEC media rules on election reporting provides a practical guideline for journalists to help them fulfill professional standards, including accuracy, impartiality, and responsibility. Journalists, he said, are expected to report fairly on all candidates or parties, whilst upholding professional standards and media ethics.
Election is often regarded as a complex process requiring the participation of a multitude of players. Each of the stakeholders need timely and relevant information to effectively participate in the electoral process. The Commission is committed to promoting and conducting free and fair elections based on democratic principles and practices.
Civil society organization plays an important role in promoting the conduct of free and fair elections based on democratic principles and practices. Hannah Foster is the chairperson of the CSO's Coalition de Gambia.
The CSO Coalition is part of the NEG, that is the National Elections Response Group. And during the past elections, we've had to engage with the IEC, and we are pleased, and I'm sure if you look at our reports, you will see that we've been able to engage with them real time during the elections, and we've been able to resolve together certain things that could have created challenges for all of us as Gambians.
Representing the president of the Gambia Press Union, Ali Cisse, a board member, described the training as important and encouraged journalists to familiarize themselves with the IEC media rules on election reporting.
One thing that we just like to emphasize as a union, that's the Gambia Press Union, is that to encourage our members as you attend this training, at the end of the day, we expect that you will go out there and do what is expected of you, that is trying to give a fair reporting based on facts to ensure that whatever is reported is fair and then is based on facts. And then it's also important that we also understand the basic electoral laws, and I think this training couldn't have come at a better time.
Participants are also sensitized on the requirements for membership of the National Assembly, IEC media rules, media guidelines for candidates, general ethics for journalists during election period, qualifications and disqualification for members of the National Assembly, and code of conduct for observers. Reporting for KTV News, I am Omar P. Jallo.
Following Russia's invasion of Ukraine last week, the global sporting fraternity is now punishing Russia with a series of sanctions and bans, including ending partnerships with Russian companies and sporting organizations to send a message of support to Ukraine. In this report, Fode Mane looks at some of these measures launched against Russia.
As the war continues, Russia is finding itself increasingly isolated, including in the sporting world, in the short and long term as sporting organizations terminate partnerships and contracts with Russian companies. These include business groups who have signed important deals and invested heavily in football clubs around the world. While players and fans were sending messages of support by showing the Ukraine flag during sporting events, Poland, Sweden, and Czech Republic football associations were among the first to condemn the Russian invasion by issuing a joint press statement about their refusal to play against Russia if they are required to meet them in the World Cup 2022 playoffs. Despite the World Football Governing Body, FIFA initially suspended Russia from hosting international football matches and banning the country's flag and anthem from any of their matches abroad. The refusal of the Polish, Swedish, and Czech Republic FAs has put pressure on FIFA, leading to the expulsion of Russia from all its activities, including the World Cup 2022, until further notice. This also inspired the governing body of European football, UEFA, to suspend Russian national team and football clubs from all European competitions. UEFA has also moved the 2022 Champions League final venue from St. Petersburg in Russia to Paris, France. UEFA has further joined a German club, Schalke 04, to end their partnerships with Russian energy corporation, Gazprom, throughout all its competitions. Also, Russia's largest airline, Aeroflot, has lost its deal with Manchester United. Several football coaches and players have terminated their contracts with Russian clubs, among them German coach Marcus Gisdol at Lokomotiv Moscow and a former Ukraine international player, Yaroslav Bakitsky, with Zenit St. Petersburg. Some Ukrainian athletes have joined the Ukraine army to help fight against Russia, including boxers, namely world champion Alexander Usyk, the Klitschko brothers, both former world champions, and Vasily Lomachenko. There have been calls to have Russian and Chelsea Football Club owner Roman Abramovich barred from living in Britain ever again and plans to seize all his assets, including owning Chelsea. This has not been enacted, but it has forced Abramovich to initially offer to hand over the club to the trustees of Chelsea Charitable Foundation and then announce his intention to sell Chelsea FC in the best interest of the club. In addition, the International Olympic Committee, Junior Swimming World Championship, Russian Formula One Grand Prix, and Skiing World Cup have all removed Russia from hosting their events. While the reaction from the world of sports continue to grow against Russia, it is sad to note that young Ukrainian footballers, Vitaly Sapilo and Dmytro Martynenko, who joined the fight to defend their country, have been announced as reportedly football's first fatalities in the war. Reporting for QTV News, I am Fode Mane.
That's all we have for you in this bulletin. Thank you for watching and have a nice weekend.